We have an app which has a list of friends, and you can add those friends to the shared list here just by clicking this button, and you can also remove them. Pretty cool. So it looks like we're effectively keeping track of who is shared on what lists. So now it's time to actually change around the user list to add shopping lists when they're shared with the user. This is a fairly complicated task, so here's some thoughts that I had about how to break it down. My recommendation is that the first thing you should do is to add and remove a list to a user's list. So when you press the plus button and it becomes green, you should actually take that list and add it to the user list of the friend that you're sharing with. Conversely, if you press that green check to unshare it, it should remove the list from your friend's user lists. Also, a quick reminder, whenever you're changing around who's shared on a list, it should update the timestamp last changed for all users. Okay, so once you've got that working, you can change update map for all with value to update the lists for all shared users. Right now it's doing it pretty effectively for the owner, but you should have this method also update for anybody that's on the shared with list. For update map for all with value to actually be able to do this, you might need to change the signature to include passing in a shared with list. And since you're probably going to be changing around that method signature, you're also going to want to update all the places that you call update map for all with value so that you can pass in that shared with list. You might find that you're calling this method from adapters and dialogues, and that gets a little bit more tricky. Let me give you some tips. For adapters, you could set a list of shared users much like you set a shopping list in an adapter. Let me show you in the code. And in ActiveList item adapter, I have a shopping list member variable. And that shopping list member variable is actually set here with this set shopping list method. Okay, so now if I go over to ActiveList details activity, I'm here in the onCreate method, and a lot of stuff happens. I'm scrolling down. But one of the things is I get a listener that grabs the shopping list, sets the activities shopping list member variable, and then passes in the shopping list into the adapter. So you could do something kind of similar. In the activity, you can grab the shared with list, and then when that changes, you can pass that into the adapter. Dialogues are similarly a little bit tricky. Now, you can pass in the shared users into a new instance method, much like you would a primitive value. But shared users is a hash map. And if you remember, in the new instance methods, we're putting all those values into a bundle. So you might be wondering how to put a hash map into a bundle. Well, you can use bundle's handy-dandy put serializable method. And similarly, you can pull it out of the bundle by using bundle's handy-dandy get serializable method. You just have to remember to also cast it to a hash map. Alright, so I'm not going to lie, this is a pretty big update, but I know you're ready for it. Read the spec carefully, work incrementally, and reach out if you need help. I'll also go ahead and add a link to adding log level debugging information in the instructor notes. Okay, best of luck, and I'll send over the spec right now.